George Gilder 是 Gilder Publishing 的创始人，他曾经在上世纪80年代美光科技还未上市之前呢，就开始推荐该股了。那么此期 Money Show 的活动上呢，我们也是就近期的热点话题黄金、云计算以及中国股市等等和他交换了意见。Hi, Mr. Gilder. Thank you for joining us. So, in your recent research paper, you believe gold is an alternative currency to replace the dollar. Why?
I think gold is the authentic measuring stick. And I don't say that gold will replace the dollar. I think the dollar should be valued in gold. And gold, I say in my paper, is essentially valued on time, the time it takes to extract it. Because gold becomes more difficult to extract as the mining equipment improves, the mining equipment and the extraction costs cancel out, and what you have left is the time it takes to extract it. So gold, the value of gold has its roots in time. And in this book I show that all measuring sticks are ultimately rooted in time. If you go through all the measuring sticks of like the meter, the second, the candela, the ampere, the mole, all these, the kilogram, all these are ultimately based in the Système International in Paris that keeps these, roots all these measuring sticks in physical constants that don't change, are ultimately based on the speed of light, which doesn't change.
Okay. Well, so if you like gold, why are you so passionate about Bitcoin?
Because Bitcoin is gold for the internet. Bitcoin is automated gold for the internet. Bitcoin explicitly is based on an algorithm that cancels out technology and leaves Bitcoin's valuation rooted or anchored in the time it takes to integrate and validate a block of transactions in the blockchain, a ledger that is the heart of the Bitcoin system. So Bitcoin is just gold for the internet. Both of them are based on time as the root of their valuation. And time is great because time remains scarce no matter how much abundance the Chinese entrepreneurs create. Time will remain scarce, and so time allows you to prioritize. It allows a unit of account. It is distributed equally to the rich and poor. Time is based on entropy, which is the root of the theory of information, and my economics is an economics of information.
Okay, then can you tell us a little bit about cloud computing?
Well, cloud computing, the next generation of computing is cloud computing. And in my various books, I've written 10 books about technology. And really I write about different learning curves. And one of the main learning curves is called Moore's Law, and everybody's heard of Moore's Law. It's the doubling of computer power every 2 years, roughly, these days. And the doubling of the number of transistors you can put on a single device every 2 years. And every 10 years, there's Bell's law comes into play. That's Gordon Bell. And Gordon Bell's law says that every 10 years there's about 100-fold rise in computing. And with a 100-fold rise, you have to have an entirely new architecture. It enables an entirely new computer architecture. And the new architecture that's developing right now is called cloud computing, where more and more functions, network function virtualization, more and more network functions are virtualized in software and moved to big data centers where they are performed on racks and racks of rather ordinary computer servers. And that's network function virtualization. And software defined networking allows the separation of all the data planes from the control planes, so you can load balance and reorganize and collect data and distribute it from a higher layer in the internet stack than was possible when the previous network architecture.
Right. So at your speech yesterday, you said you recommended Micron back in the 80s.
I did. I really discovered Micron. I wrote the Rosen electronic letter that became Release 1.0, and I saw a list of producers of the 64K DRAM. And all of them were Japanese, actually, at the time, almost all of them, and plus IBM and Intel and maybe MasTec. There might have been 3 U.S. companies, Texas Instruments, very few, though. And then Micron technology that was utterly unknown. So I went to how could they join this incredibly intense global war for dominance in DRAMs, the dynamic random access memories, the basic memory in all your computers, and I found that they had a fundamentally better design and layout for their DRAMs, and so they could make them smaller than anybody else and cheaper and better. And because of this advantage, which I thought derived from real insights of a few designers at Micron, I predicted they would become a powerhouse in DRAM. And indeed, at one point, they were the #1 DRAM producer in the world for several years.
So rumor says that Micron is about to acquire by a Chinese company.
I know.
Called Tsinghua Uni Group. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think we'll see if the price is right, and DRAMs are still important, but I think that the Micron shareholders got to decide what they want to do, and but I think that the American and Chinese economies are intimately interconnected. That they are, we both perform valuable functions for the other side, and I am very unsympathetic with efforts to make us adversaries, and I just think it's foolish. And I think Micron has some really important advances in security chips that are valuable, and that may be a point of contention, actually, because security chips are politically sensitive, and Micron and Wave Systems have a deal developing security chips, and so there are various factors, but I think in general I think that Chinese investments in the United States are wonderful.
Okay, then what do you think about the recent Chinese stock market crash?
It wasn't. It went up. It went down. No crash. I mean, it's all just. You had a spike when I can't remember what the rule was, but you encouraged more participation in stock markets, and so there was an influx into the Chinese stock market that caused a crash, and then it came back down, and it's still about where it was before, and it's about the same as what's happened in the U.S. stock market. That's also plateaued. The world economy is in doldrums now, and my book tells you how to get out of these doldrums. It's Bitcoin and gold are the real solution. Money rooted not in the caprice of some central banker, you know, the wishes of the central bank playing to the politicians, but rather rooted in the fundamental speed of light, which the passage of time, which can't be manipulated by anyone, and really can restore money as a measuring stick.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you.